So now we're going to use what we know about corresponding parts and congruent triangles to help us solve for x and y and find the measurement of angle A. So we can do this using corresponding parts. So if we look here at measurement of angle A, I see that measurement of angle A is between the side that has 1 mark and the side that has 2 marks. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. So this is angle A right here. So angle A will correspond to what angle on the other triangle? It will correspond to angle R, because if you look at angle R is also in between the side that has 1 mark and 2 marks. So now I can write an equation to figure out what y is by setting them equal to each other. So remember, if these two triangles are congruent, then these angle measures are equal. So that means I have 4y minus 36 is equal to 2y. I'm going to subtract the 4y and I get negative 36 is equal to negative 2y. Once you divide by negative 2, you get 18 for y. Now I'm going to solve for x. So it appears that angle T is going to be congruent to angle B because the angles that represent C and P look like 90-degree angles. We don't know for sure if it's 90-degree angle, but they look like they're 90. So I know that this would not be corresponding or congruent to this. So angle T is going to be congruent to angle B, which means I can set 8x minus 2 equal to 54. So then you just add the 2 over and you get 8x is equal to 56. Divide by 8, you get x is equal to 7. So the last thing I had to do was find measurement of angle A, and angle A was 4y minus 36. So because I know what the y is, I just replace the y with the 18. So 4 times 18 minus 36. 4 times 18 is 72 minus the 36. So measurement of angle A is 36 degrees. This one is going to be very similar to the last one. So the triangles below are congruent. We're going to find x and y, and this time we're going to find measure of all the angles of the triangles. So if we look at angle A, what angle is angle A corresponding to or congruent to on the other triangle? Because angle A is in between the side with 1 and 2 tick marks, I know that angle A is going to correspond to angle E because it's between the 1 and the 2 tick marks. So I know that these two are going to be congruent, and that will help me solve for x. So 4x is equal to 76. And then if I divide by 4 on each side, I get x is equal to 19. Now, if we look at angle B is corresponding to what other angle on the other triangle? If you look at where angle B is, it's between the side with 1 and 3. So here's 1, here's 3, and if you look at 1 and 3, there's nothing here. So that's kind of difficult, but even though I know there's nothing there, corresponding triangles that are congruent means that these angles would be congruent. So that would tell me that angle D is also 82 degrees. That will mean that angle F is congruent to angle C. But even though there's nothing there, if they're congruent, then that means this is also 3y minus 11. But that's not really going to help me solve for y now, is it? Because if I set 3y minus 11 equal to 3y minus 11, everything's going to zero out. So we have to use what we know about this triangle and our knowledge of angle B being congruent to angle D, and then we can use the triangle sum theorem to figure out what y is. So that means I'm going to do 3y minus 11 plus the 76 plus the 82 and set it equal to 180. So when you combine the negative 11, the 72, and the 82, you should get 147 is equal to 180. Then subtract the 147 from each side, and you'll get 33. So 180 minus 147 is 33. Divide by 3, y is equal to 11. The last part of the problem was to find all of the angle measures for the triangle. So let's take a look at that. So measurement of angle A is 4 times x. Well, that would be 4 times 19. So 4 times 19 is 76 degrees. We also knew that because 4x was equal to 76. So you didn't even have to substitute anything in. Since they're congruent to E, we just know that this is 76. Then let's look at measurement of angle B. So measurement of angle B, we already know is 82 degrees. And then measurement of angle C, we're going to have to find that by substituting what we got for y. So 3 times 11 is 33. 33 minus 11 would be 22. So A, B, and C is this triangle, but because the triangles are congruent, the same would be true for the angle measures in the other triangle. So measurement of angle E is 76 degrees. Measurement of angle D, we already know, is 82 degrees. And that would make measurement of angle F 22 degrees. So the last thing we're going to talk about is the third angles theorem and then prove triangles using corresponding parts. So if two angles on two triangles are congruent, then their third angle is congruent. So if angle A is congruent to angle D and angle C is congruent to angle F, well, then that means that angle B is going to be congruent to angle C. That kind of seems like common sense, right? So in this last example, we're going to see if we can prove that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle EDC, and we're going to justify our reasons over here. Well, they're actually justified for us. So we're just going to fill in this proof. So AB is congruent to ED. So AB is here. AB is congruent to ED. So that's given to us. And then BC. Let's look at BC. BC is congruent to what other segment? BC is going to be congruent to DC. We know that because there's 3 little marks here and 3 little marks here. And I said it would be congruent to DC and not CD because of the order of how the variables appear and just how the triangles are drawn. So I went from the outside towards the center, so I'd have to go from the outside towards the center again. So this would have to be DC. Now let's look. What is congruent to segment EC? So EC is right here. What would be congruent to EC? It would be AC. So not CA, it's AC. You know because they're going from the corner towards the center, so you'd have to go from the corner towards the center. And then if you look at how the letters appear in the names of the triangles, A is first, C is last, E is first, C is last. This would then mean that angle A is congruent to angle E. And this all says given because it's given to us by naming the triangles and also by using the marks to represent which sides are congruent. So if you look here, we're going to use vertical angles theorem. So BCA, BCA, so talking about this angle right here, this angle is congruent to whatever this angle is. So it's important that you name it correctly. How would you name this angle? It would be angle DCE. So if you always go back up to the order that things are presented, if it says BCA, it starts in the middle and goes BCA. So then you would do that same pattern of middle, right, left for BCA. Then it would be DCE. So now we get to apply the third angles theorem. If this angle is congruent to this one, and these two are congruent, then that has to mean that their third angles are congruent. So now I can say that angle B is congruent to angle D, which means triangle ABC is in fact congruent to triangle EDC because all of their parts are congruent.